Hello, today's demonstration is in 3 parts. In the first part, I am going to make a foam stamp in the style of the artist Mondrian. I'm going to stamp onto a sheet of Bristol paper a structure with these stamps, and then I'm going to do some color mixing. I will be mixing a cadmium yellow and a manganese blue. And I will be tinting or shading, either way you look at it. I'll be making a gradation, and I'll be showing you how to color mix, and then I will paint in my stamped Mondrian structure. So here is a piece of adhesive craft foam that you can get at almost any craft store. It's really easy to cut. I've already made a small one here, and I think this is like a 3.5 by 3.5 piece of cardboard. This is a 4-inch by 4-inch. I'm going to do a couple different sizes, and just like Mondrian, I'm going to cut some thin lines and some thicker lines, and just make kind of a spontaneous arrangement on my cardboard. I have to decide, do I have some of the lines touching or not? Just like he did in his paintings. I'm choosing to go totally straight, but you're welcome to play with it and you could put some at an angle. This feels a little too thick to me. I'm going to cut that down. So I just peel the backing off and stick. And the cardboard I'm using is just a thick cardboard from the back of a paper notepad. You can make a whole bunch of these till you get one or several that you like. Okay, just for kicks, I'm going to put one like that just to throw the piece a little bit. Okay, and then what I like to do on the back with a piece of tape is make like a little handle so that I can hold it, stamp, stamp, stamp. So bring my tape together, put it down, got a little stamp handle. Okay, now I'm going to stamp. To ink these, there's several ways to do it. I mean, I could brush it on, I could use a foam roller, or I've taken this, it's like a synthetic cloth from Trader Joe's. You could also use a paper towel, and I made it damp and squeezed the water out. I'm making a stamp pad is basically what I'm doing. Okay, put that on there, spread it out using my angled palette knife, and I've got it on my palette paper. I like these synthetic dishcloths because I can just throw them in the washing machine when I'm done, and I can reuse them. Okay, so it's going to take a while to build up.
Are you using liquid black paint?
I am using a liquid black paint, and if you don't mind waiting till the end, yeah, let me show it to you. So I'm using a Liquitex fluid acrylic. Any brand will do. I'm choosing black for Mondrian, but you could You could print your lines in a different color if you wanted to. Okay, so here we go. Okay, and some of it may come out uneven. That's okay. I'm doing this on Bristol paper, and what I'm trying to do is create an interesting structure. I'm going to move it around, that then I can put my paint mixtures in. Okay, there was that one. I'm also, let's see, I have to re-ink each time. And I'm going sort of in a grid-like fashion, but there's no reason, actually, maybe I'll just do it. There's no reason I can't mix it up a little bit. And go on an angle. Let's see what that does. I like that. I was going to use my little one. Let's see if I still do. I don't know. So you could create several of these. So let me do the little one and bring that in. It is very warm today, so I'm having to work rather quickly, but the good news is I won't have to wait for this paint to dry for when I start painting my paint mixtures in. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and now I'm going to show you more formal paint mixing. And you don't always have to mix your paint this way, but I think it's really important to know how to do it. Because let's say we're working on a really big painting, you need to know how to mix colors and mix larger quantities. And it's also a really great way to acquaint yourself with your paint. I've bought all kinds of color wheels, and I just never relate to them. For some reason, by mixing my own colors, I have a better understanding of them. I feel more connected. So, all right. So that's manganese and that's cadmium yellow. And when mixing, usually the more intense, in this case, the darker color, the blue, I am going to gradually add and mix to the yellow. So a classic example of not mixing paint properly would be red and white. And usually somebody wants to get pink and they start adding a little bit of white to the red, and it just takes forever because the red is so intense. Okay, so I'm going to leave some of the yellow because I want that on my painting. I'm going to bring this down. Good to have a rag as you go along to wipe off your palette knife. I'm going to leave a little bit of the manganese up there too. Okay, and then now I'm going to add that tiny amount over here. Again, I like that angled palette knife. I can kind of scoop and flip my paint. And I'm going to get an unusual green. So this could be something you might also do when you just don't have the energy to maybe do a whole painting, but you could play with your paints and acquaint yourself with them and make some, color gradations that you can reference later. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to take some of that and blop it up there. take a little bit more of the manganese. I put quite a bit more. I'm going to jump it. Okay, that's a beautiful green. Okay, then I put my next gradation up there, and I'll do, maybe I'll do 2 more. Okay. So it starts out more yellow, and then I'm pushing more towards the blue. I'm going to take a full bunch here. I'm going to leave this over here. Okay. All right, so I have got, I just made 4 mixtures plus my 2 original colors, and now in a somewhat spontaneous fashion, I am going to use brayers to paint with. And I'm sorry I didn't, if you don't have them, I'm sorry I didn't tell you to get them. It did not even occur to me until about half an hour before I came online. I went, oh, the brayer is going to go perfectly with this Mondrian structure. And I have these smaller brayers. If you like brayers, you can get these on Amazon. Just type in small brayers and that'll come up. So I'm going to start with this non-traditional method. So I have to roll in my paint. And then rather quickly and spontaneously rolling in colors. It is very warm today, so I have to work quickly. And the purpose of doing this is now I'm going to see how these paint mixtures interact as a whole. So all right, so I got that. And I'm not going to be too fussy about cleaning my brayer. Although I'm going to go to a smaller one here. So this is how I tend to kind of move my brayer, or it could be my paintbrush, around the page till, I don't know, something tells me there's the spot. Okay, Right, now I'm going to go with the original manganese blue. This is a small, even smaller brayer. Now I'll start overlapping some of my colors here and there. So here I've got 3 colors interacting. Okay, now I'll go on to another color. So the thing with the brayer is, I mean, that's like really goopy. So I have to roll it out a little bit on my palette paper. I wouldn't normally put it on my painting. But like I said, things are drying very quickly. Okay, I have not overlapped my black line, so maybe I'll play with that. Okay, now I'm going to go back to yellow. This all looks pretty good, but there's not, I need more contrast. I need more pop. So now I'm going to go to my yellow here. Okay, I'm going to switch to brushes now, because what if you don't have a paint roller brayer? So adding a little bit of water. So this is an opportunity to play with brayer, different brushes. This paint is more transparent. If I want to go more globby, no water. And then it's the magic, hold it at a 45-degree angle. And then I gently pulling, and I pull that paint off of my brush. This is more impasto, thicker paint. So if I blob over another color, I'm seeing this more. Then one of my favorite palette knives is this one. It's got little teeth in it. And if I scrape through, I'm going to see some of the blue from below. I'll do that again. I'm going to do it with yellow over here. Here's thick impasto paint. Scrape, scrape. Ooh, I like that. Do that again. And I will be going into paint layering more. But what I'm playing with here, I'm leaving some white space. I've got black. I've got transparent paint from the brayer. I've got thick, opaque impasto paint. And I'm doing, this is called sgraffito, which if you don't have one of these today, you could take a stick or the back of your paintbrush and you can just scribble through. And I'm working in the round, so around the whole page. And so hopefully you can see that it begins to look almost like a tapestry. So I'm seeing how my color mixtures are all interacting. If I wanted to turn this into a big painting, probably my next step would be, okay, so this is all great. What's another color I could add? And in my mind, I'm thinking maybe some thin lines of orange or red. But that's not really the purpose of this lesson today. So I can take paint directly with this and paint directly with that. If you have your angled palette knife, you can do the same thing. And I really like the angled palette knife because if I scrape pretty firmly, it's transparent. Which creates a little bit more depth. Okay, I'm in the flow. It's addictive. I know I've thrown a lot at you, but you can also come back and watch the video for specific techniques.